I mean, Josh, you remember what I did last week. So last week you were the Z-Man, so I'm just going to stick with that. So I was thinking, oh, I'll give Andy like an initial, like he'll be the S-Man. But I kind of want to do the Ass-Man because it's AS.
Yeah.
Just make him the Ass-Man. But I was like, no, I don't want to surprise you and throw that at you
Yeah,
all of a
I'm
sudden.
just I'm just really lucky. My parents didn't decide to make my middle name like Steven or Sebastian or something.
Sign everything ASS.
Yeah.
You can get the Ass-Man license plate like
The
from
license plate, yeah.
Seinfeld.
Hey, look, it's the ass man.
You know I'd call you that all the time.
That's fine. I would call myself that. In fact, my middle name is a C, and if you have like what is it, the soft C sound, it is still like ass.
It's a little bit ass, yeah.
There you found it. Andy, a little bit ass.
Andy, a little bit ass stoles.
There it is. At least for this week.
Hello and welcome to another episode of Bry Guy and his Super Friends. I'm your host, Brian Labick. Joining me for this episode is Andy, a little ass stoles.
Well, what's up, podcast people?
And the Z-Man is back, Josh Zorch.
Happy to be here.
So we are coming off of our first episode of Rewind Theater, so hopefully you got a chance to give that a listen. It's fun to do. We're going to try to keep doing those here and there, probably every other episode. We'll try to stick to that. So hopefully then, if all goes according to plan, the next episode we do will be for the second episode of that series. So if you missed the first one, and I actually just put our wheel spin from the Wheel of Fate up to let you know on Facebook what we're going to be doing next. So the next movie in the series, we are going to be watching Venom, which I don't really know if anyone is excited about, but we will be doing that for the podcast.
That's why you leave it to the Wheel of Fate.
Yeah, we will stick it out.
To make us do the things we would probably not otherwise elect.
Correct. Yes, exactly right. We'll see. At some point, I would like to talk about the DC Fandom stuff. We're recording this a couple days out from the Fandom, so by the time this comes out, we will probably, if you will have watched or missed the Fandom, that is the 22nd all day supposedly. So Josh and I were just sort of talking before the show. We don't know if that stuff's going to end up on the internet right after, if they're going to wait a little bit before it's on there. So we'll see what we can share, and what everybody sees and catches. Hopefully there's some stuff. There's a lot of good panels there that I think are worth talking about. So we'll have to see what we can catch between now and then, and hopefully try to find some time to record something on that one too. But for this episode, we're going to see what's up with everybody. So that's right. We got another What's Up With You episode. And honestly, I keep forgetting whenever we do these that I think I have some sort of intro from Andy that I might throw in just because I have it and I don't use it.
Is there one? Really?
I feel like there's one of you just saying "What's up with you" a couple times, and I'm just gonna use it because it's there.
I don't remember this.
Yeah,
See if you can find like another like funky, fresh techno beat to put behind it.
What's up with you?
Yeah.
Like
Oh
that?
no, that's the new one. No,
There
that's
you go.
going in. That's the one. I'm gonna
Do that like
forever.
3 times in a row with some kind of background music that you can find on the free domain site. Yep.
I know. I have to find some royalty-free stuff. The intro music for the show I made on my dad's Mac with GarageBand, so I'll have to see if I can borrow his Mac again and just play around in there. All right, so for anyone unfamiliar with this type of episode, this sort of format, it's basically just an excuse for us to catch up with each other, see what we've been watching, reading, playing, get some maybe recommendations, maybe some things to avoid, and just kind of shoot the shit a little bit. Josh, I think, was actually looking back to see the last time we did this. You said the last What's Up With You we did was like pre-quarantine or somewhere right at the beginning of quarantine?
Relatively speaking at this point, beginning of quarantine. I think it posted at the beginning of April. So anything that we had shared at that point was like things through maybe February and March. So I know for myself, like this is basically almost like a quarantine, like media dump. Like, what have you been doing through the pandemic? What has your what have you been using your time doing with media during, this century's pandemic?
Right. Yeah, I don't know if my list is going to be that extensive. I think I got like 4 things on there that I'm going to bring up, and that's pretty much about it.
That's about
again,
it for me too.
Yeah, sort of just in the interest of, like, I know we've notoriously just gone long for a bunch of episodes, so I'm trying in the back of my mind to just be like, okay, let's try to get to a time limit and stick to it. So we'll see if we adhere by that by the time this is over.
Well, do you want to try? I know we initially talked about like maybe breaking it out by media type and talking about TV altogether, then talking about movies or something. Do you want to do it by person, and we can implement our alarm system?
Set the 15-minute timer.
Yeah, like 15 or 20 minutes. We want to go about an hour-ish.
Are we doing 15 minutes per yeah, I guess per person, right? We're not going to do 15 minutes per category because that could be still pretty long.
Yeah.
Yeah,
that's gonna be more. It sounds like that's gonna be much more of the challenge for me than you guys.
Yeah, I think so. I think you're correct.
but I like challenges.
So you let me know. I'll give you the option. If you want to go first, I will give you the clock.
Okay, yeah, let's do it.
All right,
15-minute
timer.
Game show. Starting
now.
All right, first I'm gonna start with books because damn it, I actually read books and I can talk about those for once. It took me a little while through the late winter and early spring to get through a collection of James Joyce short stories that I was reading. This was part of my Let's Get Ready to Go on Vacation to Ireland in October prep list. Spoilers, I'm not going to Ireland in October anymore. That's gotten postponed an entire year. So, I mean, people always take 6th anniversary like marquee vacations, right?
In the year of 2020, yes,
Yeah,
exactly.
Yeah, you just make it a thing.
Yeah, oh yeah, we will. We'll make it as good as we can.
So skip the 10 year, just do it on the 12th year and then 18th.
Just arbitrary stuff.
Yeah.
So then I followed that up by reading something else that was on that list because the trip wasn't yet officially canceled, and I figured I'm just in the mode already. It was a book called Star of the Sea, which is much more recent than James Joyce's writings. I think it was written in around the year 2000. It was quasi like a murder mystery-ish, but it was sort of set around the background of the story that it was all happening in was a mostly Irish immigrant ship making the trek across the Atlantic to come to like New York in 1850.
Okay.
So it was really interesting. It was definitely like a different storytelling vibe. It wasn't linear. It kept all these like offshoot chapters of character backstory and whatnot. So it was interesting.
Okay.
I finished that up, and then I finally I got a chance to dive back into our good friend Sarah Tarkoff's trilogy books. She is a friend of ours who I've mentioned a couple times, who is a personal friend of Sarah's that she grew up with from the Pittsburgh area, and Sarah made a career so far out of screenwriting, and for several seasons, most notably, she worked on the Arrow TV show,
which I'm really jealous of. That's awesome.
Yeah, among a couple other DC properties. I know there's like 1 or 2 animated movies or short series that she also was a part of. But her own novels that she has out, a trilogy of them, her second book, Fearless, I just cracked back into. It's been about a year since I finished the first one, and I'm excited to get back into that and support her. Nice. So go ahead and look for those. Second category, I've been doing puzzles. I've been working on
like jigsaw puzzles.
Jigsaw puzzles.
Okay.
Something I used to do in my 20s and like my late teens a lot, and I have like a shelf full of them, and I cracked a few open, and I got 2 of them done already. They were Harry Potter themed. One was sort of a Marauders map type thing. Another was like a Hogwarts layout type of look. This other one I just started recently is really cool. It's actually 3 small separate layers where they're not paper or cardboard, but the pieces themselves are actually plastic, and sections of the print on the plastic pieces are clear. So when you complete the 3 separate pieces, they then lay on top of each other in a skewed fashion to actually make the complete picture.
Oh, that's
okay.
weird.
So I'll send you guys pictures if you're curious as to what that actually could look like, or like how it's going together in the end if you care. But I again, this is something it's been sitting on our like game shelf for probably 6 years at the least. I don't remember where it came from, how long I've had it. I don't think I bought it new. I never noticed that's what it was until I took it out of the box a week ago. So
I will admit that, when you talked about like, hey, let's do a what's up with you, let me talk about some stuff. Puzzles was not something I expected you to bring up.
When you said puzzles, I was like, huh.
Well, I knew that I would definitely win that category.
Wait, there's winners? Oh, I'm going to have to step up my game.
Well,
yeah,
everything
what's
else
up with
seems
you
like
episode
apples
where
to
the
apples.
points don't matter.
As I'm not challenged in the puzzles category, I'm the clear winner.
Winner by default isn't the same as winning.
Yes. Brian, what's my timer?
10 minutes exactly.
Okay. So I did a count on my Letterboxd account, which is something Brian and I use, and now my wife does, and I use it to log feature movies that I'm watching. I don't do it for television, but if I'm watching a movie from our DVD collection or on Disney Plus or Netflix, or I rent it from the library or Redbox, wherever I get it from, I just put it in to this app, and I kind of use it as a diary log. It's like a calendar. I can look back. When did I watch such and such? Or, hey, this month of this year, was there some reason that I was watching these horror movie series or something? So I did a count just based on that. So since the last episode of this we did, so since beginning of April, say the end of March, I have logged 99 movies.
Jesus Christ.
You were one off. One off.
Yeah.
You almost had the triple digits.
And there's a small chance that I might have just missed logging one there, but 99.
You know what's going to be number 100
since April?
Venom.
I will have to make sure that I watch something first. That will not happen.
Well, that means
at least there's not like
Venom's going to be 101.
True. At least there's not like a bell that goes off anywhere like, you've reached your 100 movie.
Yeah, champagne and all that stuff.
Yeah. Oh, what was the one that took you over to the century mark? It was Venom. Yeah, not gonna happen. So I'll run down some quick highlights of my nearly 100 movies of COVID. Some Netflix originals: Extraction, The Old Guard, Eurovision Song Contest, which was way funnier than I thought it would be. We just watched Project Power that came out this past weekend. We went to the drive-in a few times. We went to the legit drive-in. We saw a movie called Palm Springs with Andy Samberg, which is freaking hilarious. It's kind of like a R-rated, quasi-raunchy, adult effed up Groundhog Day.
Okay.
But it's worthwhile. It's kind of like a rom-com as well, but it's good. Our local parks department for Allegheny County was hosting drive-in events at a few parks in the area. So South Park is a mile and a half from where we live. So we went out a couple of weeks ago. We saw Knives Out again. And then the week after that, we went out for Moana.
Oh, nice.
So just happy to get out of the house, do something different, still be, safely spaced from people, and just a change of pace. One of those movies, one of those 99, was an episode that you guys have heard sometime in, could have been April or May sometime. It was a never seen that I owed Brian, which was Fast and Furious.
Yeah.
Which one?
That number 4?
Yeah, because we did
4?
we did one a while ago.
Yeah,
so
we did the first one like last fall.
The last one we did was number 4. Yeah.
Okay.
I'm trying to give him the highlights, Andy.
Yeah.
145 is where we're headed.
You
Skipping
totally
2 and
skipped
3.
2 and 3.
I did. Yes.
What the hell?
I want him to enjoy the movies. I don't want him to just sign off and cut ties and be done.
Which only ups maybe that ups the ante for what I get out of Brian to watch those ones. Then maybe those are worth more. One day I did an Infinity War Endgame back-to-back marathon. Definitely advise someone to do that at some point if they've never. Sarah watched Tremors for the very first time.
Is that the Shia LaBeouf Disney movie?
No, you're thinking of Holes.
Oh, okay.
Tremors, no, the creatures underground with Kevin Bacon.
Oh, right.
Yeah. We watched Tag again because it's frickin' Tag and that movie's amazing.
Oh, I love that movie.
I could watch that movie every week.
Yeah, I agree.
In preparation for knowing that Bill and Ted was hopefully still going to be coming out in a timely manner, we rewatched Bill and Ted 1 and 2, and I gotta say, Bogus Journey is a terrible goddamn movie.
So which one? I get the titles messed up. Which one is which?
Excellent Adventure is the first one, and then Bogus Journey is the sequel.
Okay.
It's
yes,
pretty shitful.
2 is not great.
I remember getting Bogus Journey free when I ordered a pizza from Pizza Hut once. Like, they brought a pizza from Pizza Hut, like, here's your Bogus Journey. I'm like, what the fuck is this? I watched it.
So
and I was
that
like,
movie
what
came
the
out.
hell?
That movie came out in like 1991. So did you get it like then, or was this like 4 years ago?
It was like way later.
Okay. That's weird. Was it a
just
DVD?
mass-produced way
No, it was
too
a
many
DVD.
VHSs or something.
No, it was totally a DVD, and it was just like, it didn't even have like the jewel case or anything like that. It was just like the circle case, totally clear. And
Nice.
just like,
They stole it from a rental place somewhere and
not-
never gave it
yeah,
back.
like, not for resale. Here you go. Holy crap! Okay, I might have it somewhere. I'll have to look for it.
But I have not seen Bogus Journey. The only other time I watched Bogus Journey in my life was in college once, and it's really terrible. So I'm hoping 3 is way more like the nostalgia that we all remember of the first one. I'm hoping it's more along those lines.
Yeah, I think at some point I watched the second one also because I think it might have been like on the Amazon or something. Like I found it somewhere to watch for free, and I was like, what the fuck, I'll watch it. And you're right. I really didn't remember a goddamn thing about that movie, and what I saw was like, this is a Bill and Ted movie? I don't remember anything about it. This is terrible.
Yeah,
It was really bad.
A lot of them just playing chess with death or something.
Yeah.
Yes, that is
Like half the movie.
before the rewatch. That is the only scene I remembered whatsoever. Is just the never-ending games that Death would not admit to losing on.
Yeah.
That is it. I didn't remember anything else about the story, and for good reason.
Yeah, there's like those alien creatures that just look fucking weird.
Yeah.
I don't remember that. I'll have something to look forward to.
Find that DVD, Andy. There you go.
So what else did we do? We watched The Lovebirds, which was supposed to be a theatrical release, but got postponed, and then Netflix bought up the distribution rights. So we watched that. We watched 2 Harry Potter movies as our journey continues with 2 of our friends one of them who has never seen the Harry Potter movies, which leaves us just to do Deathly Hallows a week from now. We're going to do a back-to-back 1 and 2 on that. You'll be happy to know, Brian, I rewatched Ant-Man at some point, and I disliked it a little less.
That's the first one, right? Not Ant-Man and the Wasp.
Correct. I have not
Okay.
rewatched Ant-Man and the Wasp since theaters.
Okay. Well, that's good.
But-
So it's MCU movies. That one's coming around for you. I like it.
A little bit, yeah. What did I hit quickly? Oh, we have watched 13 James Bond movies.
Out of how many? 20 something?
I think 24, 25. Yeah. We started in like February because we were like finally going to go through and watch these movies again. And then obviously this was the perfect time to do it. So, yeah, we have watched 13 since we just finished our last Roger Moore one. And then we have 2, I forget, Dalton maybe is after that. We have like
Timothy
2 of
Dalton.
his,
Yeah.
2
2 of his, and then we're into Pierce Brosnan.
So I'm gonna pause your timer because I feel like a lot of James Bond movies is a good place to just dive in for a little bit. So I'm just curious, some thoughts on these earlier James Bond movies and what you thought.
Out of all of them, I'd say the first 3 Sean Connery ones are, I think, the best made.
Okay.
A few if I had to single out like 2 or 3 baseline thoughts from that point forward from what I've seen so far. Number one, I don't know whose idea it was. I've never read any Ian Fleming book on these, but someone decided that especially Sean Connery's incarnation should just be rapier and beatier as he goes on. Like just the flat out like assault and coercion on women is it's one of those things like, yes, okay, looking through a 2020 lens, how do we feel about these things that happened in the past? I get that. Some of it, I gotta guess, still probably was like a little cringy for the time.
Yeah, I don't know. I do think it's definitely, they're time capsule movies. Like, they're definitely a snippet of what was going on at that time. As far as Ian Fleming, I feel like the little bit that I know of Ian Fleming, I feel like all of that stuff fits Ian Fleming.
Okay.
Like, I always thought he was I always got the impression he was like an older curmudgeon-y racist guy.
Okay. Oh yeah, the one or two movies where the like Kentucky sheriff is for some reason a big part of the proceedings.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, really could have done without that guy.
Yeah. I mean, I don't remember how far they got into James Bond before Ian Fleming died, because I think he was alive when they were making the movies, right?
I believe so. I don't recall, and I don't recall like what the last one was that was based on a book that he wrote.
Right. Yeah, I'm fuzzy on that stuff too.
So that aspect of them aside, I honestly do feel that just the storytelling, the script writing, the pacing especially of the movies just didn't really get better. They just seem to be really slow most of the time. And this is a joke. Like, anytime we brought this topic up with people the last couple months, I've said most of the time, especially with Roger Moore, I find myself actively rooting against James Bond. But most of the movies, I don't really know what anybody wants or what anyone is doing to either try to achieve it or stop it.
Yeah, I feel like it's the franchise where they like go through set pieces, and it's just like, okay, how do we connect the dots? Like, they start at set pieces and go from there.
Yeah, and the one thing I have to rail against it just drives me up a wall. There was this string of maybe 4 of the Sean Connery movies where I looked it up. The same composer did many, many of these movies. He recycled a lot of his score. And there is this one little section. It's only about 7 seconds long. And there's about 3 or 4 movies where there are scenes where it plays straight for 5 to 8 minutes during these prolonged, unnecessarily elongated fight scenes, I guess. I forget. I think it might be on Her Majesty's Secret Service. I'd have to look. No, Thunderball. Freaking Thunderball. There is like a 7-minute scene of an underwater scuba fight.
I remember this.
Between the MI6 guys and the bad guys, where obviously nobody can talk, and it's just shot after shot of people kind of grappling underwater and maybe shooting a harpoon gun in a direction, all accompanied by this 7-second piece of music that just goes over and over and loops the entire goddamn time, and you want to poke your eye out.
Very apparent that score is just being reused because that's all you can hear through that entire sequence.
Over and over, and it pops up in like 3 or 4 direct sequels. It drove me insane.
Have you seen any James Bond prior to this? Like, are these new, like, first watches for you, or are these rewatches on James Bond?
We had watched probably the same first 2 or 3 interspersed in the last like 7 to 8 years.
Okay.
So like when I met Sarah 8 years ago, I had never seen a James Bond movie.
Okay.
I watched Casino Royale and Quantum of Solace just before Skyfall came out. So then I have since seen Skyfall and Spectre.
Okay.
Then somewhere in between there, we tried to go through these movies because I our first Christmas, knowing because she was like, "Oh, I'm a James Bond fan. I like these movies. You should watch them so we can go see Skyfall and you'll know what's going on." I was like, "Oh, you're a James Bond fan. It's our first Christmas together. I'll buy you the box sets of all the series." So we had everything from Connery all the way through Pierce Brosnan
Yeah.
sitting on the shelf for 8 years. And we watched Dr. No, From Russia with Love, and maybe Goldfinger over those years, and just never kept going.
So you haven't done any Brosnan movies?
I think I might have watched GoldenEye once in college,
Okay.
but I don't think I watched the others.
Yeah, it's weird to say. It's like Brosnan was like my Bond. Like that was the one I remember growing up with. He was Bond, so that's the first one I go to.
Mm-hmm. Like this slug through the end of the Roger Moore movies. Like Roger Moore did way more than I thought he did.
Oh yeah,
I thought he did maybe 3. He did like 8.
yeah. He had a long
And so
tenure.
all we kept saying after the first like 2 or 3 Roger Moore movies, Sarah just kept saying, "Can we just skip to Brosnan?" And I said, "No, only because if we don't watch these now, we will never watch them again in our life.
yeah. Check
We
that
literally
box.
will never do it." So the other point that I would make about the progression of the movies is that it is 120% apparent to me that Albert Broccoli or some other major producer, longtime producer of these films, by the time you get to the 70s, they just flat out wanted to be making porn, but didn't know how to get into the industry or didn't want their name on it or something. If you look at the progression of, especially with the Roger Moore movies, just really specifically the like song opening title sequences, they literally just get porny to the point where like the last 2 we watched, and I don't know how they like this was allowed in like a regular basic cinema. There's just like literally flat out not a silhouette anymore. There's just a topless woman in the shots, like
That
in the
sounds about right.
sequences.
Yeah.
And it's not about being a prude toward that. It's just, it's so out of place. And it's so weird because if the rest of the content of the movie, yes, tries to continue to reinforce what a suave ladies man that James Bond is. I will say with Roger Moore, there's like a 90% chance that any particular female who has a speaking role in any of his movies, they will write a scene where he sleeps with her at some point. They just got to the point, these script writers, maybe coming from the producers or again, maybe from the novels, I don't know. Like all he is like, I travel from this city to this city and I talk to people and in between I'm a puss hound.
Yeah.
That is it. And it just becomes very uninteresting. It's just so one-dimensional after like chapter 11.
Well, they're checking all the James Bond boxes. That's what, made the movies money, so let's just keep doing it.
I guess so. Like I said, I think my impression, and I just realized this recently once we got to the end of Roger Moore stuff here. Growing up not watching James Bond movies, I think I always had the impression that character was more like Colin Firth's character in Kingsman. Where he was like the gentlemanly secret agent, skilled fighter spy.
Yeah.
Not that, like I said, not that he was constantly after women.
Well, that's the thing about the movies. Like, it's not really like he's after them. They throw themselves at him. That's a lot of what happens too.
It can, and the situations that they write for those circumstances to occur just became more and more ridiculous.
Oh yeah,
and more unbelievable, and more just like I said. We want to write another scene where yet another new woman character is shown to for James Bond to have that conquest. So they just made up something to lead to that. It had no point in happening whatsoever.
Yeah, it's been 10 minutes since our last sex scene. Hurry up, cue it up. Let's go. Write one in.
Exactly. And that, like I said, I'm glad that has not been this version of James Bond that we've gotten with Daniel Craig, and I don't recall that being really so prevalent in GoldenEye if I had seen that. I said if it, I don't know. Like I said, being suave and being a ladies' man and whatever is way different than just being like I don't want to use the word predator because that's hyperbolic to some degree, but it really comes off disconcerting after a certain point.
I feel like in a nutshell, you really enjoy these movies.
I thought I would enjoy them more than I am, but I will say, like I said, like the first 3 Sean Connors to me were just better made movies.
Yeah.
If nothing else, and I don't think it's because I didn't get used to the tropes yet. They just seem like better put together.
Yeah. I mean, those are the ones I feel like everybody always comes back to. Like the first batch of Connery movies are the ones that everybody gravitates towards.
That's what I hear, and like I said, maybe different time, different age. Maybe if I had grown up with them, maybe if my parents had shown them to me, or an older brother or a cousin, an uncle, like something like that. But just haven't really felt most of them.
Andy, where do you fall on James Bond?
I like them.
For it, against it?
I generally for it,
Is there a lot? Has it been a while since you've seen them?
Yes. And I don't
Okay.
think I've ever seen Skyfall and Spectre yet, but I've seen most of the other
Really?
ones.
Okay. Spectre, I think I've only seen Spectre once. I do think it deserves a rewatch, especially the leading up to the next one. But Skyfall is fucking great. If you have not seen Skyfall, I'd say definitely check out Skyfall.
I will attest to that. Having, as I said, only quickly watching Casino Royale and Quantum of Solace before seeing that, I think you could probably walk into Skyfall not knowing jack shit and enjoy that movie from beginning to end. It is really well made.
If you know who James Bond is, you are good for Skyfall. Just go.
Yeah. If you have like the most basic idea what that character kind of is, just go. It's so enjoyable.
All right, Josh. You have 1:56 on the timer, so I'm gonna put you back on the clock.
All right, lightning round. Here we go.
Go.
I watched The Godfather 1 and 2 for the very first time in the last 2 or 3 months, and we'll be finishing up the third sometime soon. All right, blitzing through TV. Altered Carbon Season 2, finished off Schitt's Creek, watched an entire run of The Office, which Sarah had never seen. We did all 9 seasons. We started on March 31st and ended on May 6th.
Recently did that as well. Pretty awesome.
Did you go through as quickly?
Not as quickly, but we, just chose one and went.
Watched Happy Season 2, Sabrina Season 3, started Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., got a slow start in May, but now I've been kind of blitzing through since, I don't know, the last month and a half or so. I
might give us more time for that one, because that is one I want to dive in there with you.
I'm on Episode 4 or 5 of Season 4 now.
All right, so I'm gonna take a quick pause because I'm excited that you're finally sitting down to watch this.
Let me just ask, how much time do I have left, or did I run out?
58 seconds. I paused at 58 seconds.
Do you want to pause and do this and come back, or do you just want me to try to finish and then
all right?
come back to
Go
S.H.I.E.L.D.?
through your thing and then we'll revisit Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. quickly.
Okay, ready?
So go.
Flash Season 6, got through the first half of Batwoman Season 1. I need to try to find where I can access the second half of that. I want to finish that. We caught up mostly on American Horror Story. We watched the 1984 season along with Cult and Roanoke. We still have to do Apocalypse. Watched a lot of Patriot Act with Hassan Minaj, which I really enjoy, which I just heard got canceled, which really sucks. We watched Space Force, The Floor is Lava, which I contend I could beat that game in 13 seconds, and the idiotic drama that they make people do in that game is ridiculous. We watched Supermarket Sweep because why the hell not? We found it and it's amazing. Umbrella Academy Season 2, I really enjoy that. I guess it got a lot of shit, but I had a good time. And then just the other day we finished I'll Be Gone in the Dark, which is a miniseries on HBO written by Patton Oswalt's late wife, based on a book written by his late wife about identifying and hunting down the Golden State Killer, which they did after she died. So S.H.I.E.L.D.
This timer. Yeah.
So that's been my quarantine.
Yeah, you've gone through some shit. That's for sure. Put us all to shame, I think.
Well, it helps that a lot of the time, about half the time, depending on what I have to do that day for work, I can put it on in the background.
Right.
because
Okay.
I am working at home, and
Yeah.
if sometimes I can just put it on in the background as I work. So yeah, that has helped a lot in terms of quantity.
Before we really dive into Shield, Andy, I
Yeah.
don't remember. Have you watched this show or not watched this show?
I watched full seasons until the season that the Ghost Rider came, I think.
Okay, so that's the one
In-
he just started.
Including that one,
No.
or you stopped at that one?
No, I did not watch any of the Ghost Rider season.
Okay.
Okay,
So
yeah, that's
we'll try to
4.
tread
That's what
lightly.
I'm in right now.
It's 4?
Yeah,
Yeah.
Okay.
and they just concluded season 7. That was just live on television like a week or two ago, and so the series is done now. It is complete.
Okay.
I the ending was very satisfactory to me. This is still one of my top shows. Like, I fucking love this show. I think it does take a little bit to get going. I know I've said that before. And I feel like you, Josh, can agree to that, because I know you were slow going at first until you hit like the end of season 1 into season 2, and then you're like, okay, now I'm kind of going faster.
A bit more, yeah. There's like, I would say that there's an interest that they create in the first 4 or 5 episodes, but it doesn't get intriguing or compelling until toward the end of that first season.
Yeah, so I know we've talked about it before. I'm just going to try to quickly rehash. First season takes place during phase 2 of the MCU. So the show is treading water until Winter Soldier. Winter Soldier breaks the show open. It takes off the reins a little bit, and then they can sort of do what they wanted to. The show was always marketed as like, we are tied to the MCU. Everything is connected. By the time you get to like season 3, you realize, no, nothing's connected. They don't really give a shit anymore, which is fine.
Yeah.
I think the show by season 3 and 4 blazes its own path. It does what it needs to do. By then you're invested in these characters and just want to see where the story goes. And from that standpoint, the show is fantastic.
I will agree with that summary, that assessment. Yeah.
You get to some of the later seasons when some of the big stuff in the MCU happens. Like season 5 coincides with Infinity War. And the
Okay.
end of that season, there's one like passing reference to New York City, and that's it. And then the 2 subsequent seasons take place in between the gap, I guess, between Infinity War and Endgame, and make no acknowledgement of what happens there. I think because those movies were so secretive that they didn't even let the TV people know what the story was. So they could not plan ahead for what was going to happen. So they just ignored it.
So timeline-wise, it's technically taking place between like that 5-year gap between the snap.
Yeah. So when the world
Okay.
is going to hell and half the population is gone, they make no reference of any of that happening.
Gotcha.
Stuff just continues. Now, season 7, they start to tie up some stuff and try to make some things connect with some of the, I don't want to say events, but maybe some of the tech you start to see similar from the movies that starts to show up in some of the later seasons, just to try to connect the dots there.
Mhm.
And there's some, wishy-washy, we're trying to retcon some things to try to tie some things up, but it all works for me. I don't think you can get too nitpicky with the show. I think it's really fucking good. I still prefer when you get to season 5. Season 5, I think they were expecting it to be it. The last episode, I think, of season 5 is literally called The End. Like, they were expecting that to be the end of the show. And then they got picked up for 2 more seasons. So
it
season 5
feels like a like a series finale.
And season 5, I think, is still my preferred finale for the show. Like, if it had ended there, I would have been completely happy. And that's not to take anything away from the end of season 7. They shot, I think, the last 2 seasons back to back. Like, they planned an arc for where they wanted to go. So those 2 seasons back to back, I think, work really well.
Mm-hmm.
And it is a very satisfactory conclusion to the series. I wasn't, torn up with, like, pissed off how they ended it or anything. They tied everything up really well. Just personal preference-wise, I think season 5 is a better ending.
Okay.
So, Andy, I don't know if you want to pick up at some point on that show, but I would still highly recommend it to you and anyone else that wants to check out that show. I absolutely love it.
I think the only reason I stopped watching is it wasn't on Netflix anymore, or I didn't have Netflix anymore, or something like that. So it sort of stopped, like, when I wasn't watching Netflix anymore. So
right. I mean, do you have Netflix now?
I have
or
it
no?
now. Yeah.
Okay.
So
That's-
I do think
that's
it's back
something
on
I'm
there.
watching.
it's something
now.
I want to
Okay.
watch. I just
Okay.
Yeah.
If you ever get back into it, definitely let me know because I fucking love that show. I'm just in like I want people to get caught up with it because I just want to talk about stuff because there's cool shit in there that I don't know who else has actually sat and watched it that I want to talk about. So detail wise, Josh, we might have to talk out off air with
Yeah.
specific stuff. But yeah, I'm really excited for you that you are watching it.
Yeah, I think like anything, the thing that takes a while to get into is the character development and to figure out who do I care about, why do I, or even if they're a misfit, even if they're a good guy or a bad guy. I think maybe one of the reasons that the first half of the first season is a little slow going is because you're thrown into this context where the only person who you know is Phil Coulson.
Yeah.
That's the only person you have a pre-exposure to, but you're supposedly in the middle of all these familiar circumstances, which was supposed to be the outfall from the first Avengers movie.
Yeah. And Iron Man
And-
3 too. There's some Iron Man 3 fallout too.
Exactly. And like you can see that there's this isn't really a spoiler, I don't think as much. Lady Sif shows up like twice in the first season
Yeah.
because that was on air in the summer and fall of 2013. So that was leading up to Dark World.
Yeah.
So that makes sense. So like you have the story that you're entering almost to some degree, you're almost entering this story in the middle, but it's really the beginning for all these people. So you have to get to know all these people, but you're not starting the story from scratch. It's like you're thrown in the middle of all the events. And I think the character development went on the back burner a little bit.
Well, I think that's where the writers started to get maybe not angry, but like disgruntled just from like we have to juggle what's going on in the MCU, but we also have to craft our own storyline. Like how we can't do both.
Right. And even if they were trying to do that, like I said, I think there was competing priorities. The priority of I have to tell you who these people are, why you should care about them, and why you should care about them ongoing, along with you should care about the story, but those things sort of seem to be happening separately
Okay. Yeah, I got you.
to me. And once you understood who the people are and why their own decisions and their own path mattered separately to what was going to be happening in a movie that would be coming a few months later, that's where they found their footing.
Yeah, and some of these characters I'd love to see crossover internet, like in MCU proper at some point. I just think that'd be really fun callback at some point. I don't know if it'll ever happen, but it'd be fun. I'd like to see it.
So that's
Andy.
my piece.
We'll go to you. What do you got lined up for us, Andy?
I've been watching Gotham on Netflix.
Really?
Yeah.
Had you watched it on TV previously,
No,
or you
I'd
dived in?
seen one episode, I think, like the pilot episode once.
Okay.
And,
Assessment?
I like it. Yeah, I'm really into it.
How far in are you?
4th season?
Oh, wow, okay.
Damn. All right.
Yeah, so...
I couldn't get past the first season.
Oh, really? You didn't care for it?
I gave it one season, and I said if it hooks me, I'll keep going. After the first season, I was like, this is stupid. I can't.
Really?
I didn't give a shit
after
about
the
anybody
first season,
by the
I
end of
was
the first
like,
season.
all right, I want to see some more.
Yeah, it didn't hook. There was a couple characters that I liked. I liked the guy playing the Penguin.
Yeah.
I thought he was really
yeah,
good.
he's one of my favorites.
The stuff with Jim Gordon was okay, but it was those two that I found a little bit of interest in. Jada Pinkett Smith, her character irritated the shit out of me, and I was like, I don't care. I cherry picked a couple episodes in later seasons. I think that I can't remember what season I watched, but I think some of the Hugo Strange stuff I started to cherry pick a little bit,
Okay.
which was decent, but still not enough to really get me into it.
There's actually a decent amount of gore in it as well, so did that throw you off too?
See, I don't know
Because
I don't
there's
know
a
how
lot
much
of-
was in the first
There's
season.
a lot of bloodiness to it.
All right, maybe that happens later, and I don't, or I just completely forgot about that show entirely for whatever I watched. I don't remember.
I just think it's neat seeing like the progression of the characters that I'm used to being a certain way, and how they're sort of like almost like the villains are growing into being like villains because Bruce is still pretty young. I just think it's neat. I think it's really cool, and I think they did some decent casting jobs. Like the Penguin was a good casting job, the Riddler was a good casting job. Bruce.
Yes, yeah, I did like him
Bruce
too.
Wayne was a good casting job, and Alfred obviously was a good casting job. So
That's true. Yeah. Thinking about more of the cast, I think the cast was pretty solid.
yeah, so I don't know. I think it's neat seeing like the progression. It does get cheesy, but I feel like any comic book show, especially from DC, sort of has got to have a little cheese to it,
Yeah.
But I'm enjoying that. I'm enjoying that a lot. We watched The Office. It's one of Jess's favorite shows. I had seen up until the season, right before the season where Jim and Pam get together. I can't remember, 4?
When it actually happens, that sounds about right.
Yeah, somewhere around there. I had made it to there before, but I'd never seen anything past that, so I didn't get any
Oh, wow.
any of that. But it was a lot of fun watching it again, the stuff that I had seen, and really fun seeing the stuff that I hadn't. So that was I enjoyed that. We've been watching our way slowly through New Girl with Zoe Deschanel and what's his name?
Isn't
Johnson,
Jack-
something Johnson.
Jake Johnson.
Yeah.
Yes.
Spider-Man. Tag fan.
Yeah.
It's Peter B. Parker.
It's actually, I can't remember what season we're on, but it made us laugh before, but the last couple, like this last season, has really been like sort of like gut laughs, like, oh my God, that was amazing, like actually giving me some chuckles. So that's been pretty good. I haven't really been reading anything, just, still been going to work every day and everything. So, I've been playing a couple of games. Picked up Streets of Rage 4 for PlayStation 4. So I've been playing that.
That was on Game
wait.
Pass. I did play through that. That was
Streets
fun.
of Rage 4, yes.
Streets of Rage?
Yes, from like Sega Genesis.
Yeah.
They made a fourth one on new consoles.
With like modern graphics and everything?
Yeah, it's almost like anime sort of graphics, I would say. Sort of.
It's
similar.
still like
Wow.
cartoony, Josh.
Still-
It's not
yeah,
like
Okay.
it's still,
high
yeah,
def.
It's still cartoony. They did a very good job of making a modern day retro style brawler
Yeah.
game. It is a lot of fun.
Interesting.
I'm fucking terrible at it still, but it's fun. And what's neat is
Yeah, Eric and I played that.
yeah, what's neat is I can log on and just text my brother like, hey, you want to play Streets of Rage, and he can be at his house, I can be at my house, and we can play Streets of Rage together, which is pretty awesome, I think.
Yeah, that's how Eric
okay.
and I
Yeah.
played. We played online.
And
That was fun.
and I've had my eye on trying to get a Nintendo Switch for a while now, and they've been fucking nowhere. I couldn't find any for months, just because the quarantine, I think, ate up all the copies of a Nintendo Switch. But I recently found one. And one of Jess's favorite games was the old Animal Crossing games from like the Wii.
Yeah.
So we picked up the Animal Crossing for the Switch, and we've been playing that.
Yeah, I've seen that like all over online. Everybody is just enamored with that
Yeah,
game.
it's a lot of fun actually. It's something that I'm like, ooh, like we can log in and do this. Ooh, we can log in and do that. And you're basically just like these little cutesy characters running around your own island, just like collecting bugs and crafting stuff, and I don't know. It's fun. I enjoy it. It's something that Jess and I can do together that we both enjoy.
So I caught it a little bit, and now I might have to IMDb him real quickly to figure out what he does. Does anybody know who Gary Whitta is?
No.
Not off the top.
I know
of my
he's
head,
a
no.
he's a screenwriter. I'm trying to remember what I want to say. He was maybe involved in Rogue One. Yes, he wrote Rogue One. I guess he's also credited for After Earth, which I don't know if you want to take credit for that.
Is that the Will Smith movie?
Yeah.
No, it's more the Jaden Smith movie, but
Oh, okay.
yeah.
He also wrote Book of Eli, though, so that's not bad.
All right.
Yeah, that's like somewhere in between the two. But
Either way, he's got like a Twitch channel that he does, and he got really deep into Animal Crossing also. So he does like I don't know if you want to call it a podcast or a talk show or what, but it's called like Animal Talking, I think, where it's basically like his character in Animal Crossing. They just made a set in Animal Crossing, like a talk show, and he sits behind a desk, brings other guests. So like Brie Larson came on as her Animal Crossing person, sat in the chair, and they had a conversation,
That sounds amazing.
which was pretty fucking cool. So he does this like every week or something, or every, a couple times a week, and gets some pretty decent guests to show up and just be their Animal Crossing
Man, I would
person.
watch it just for Brie Larson. So
Yeah. So yeah, check it out if you're interested. I thought it was pretty fun. It was a cool idea.
and I think that's all I got because I don't remember anything else because we really haven't seen any movies just because there haven't been any movies.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's all for me. That's everything that's been up with me, I think.
Well, you made it in half the time.
Yeah.
You made it to 7.5 minutes.
I have been trying to organize all of my Magic the Gathering cards.
How big of an endeavor is
Oh
that?
my god, like I have a whole closet full, so.
Is this one of those closets where like you open the door and it all just spills out on the floor in front of you?
It doesn't do that anymore. I fixed that, but
That was a problem. We've gotten past it.
The first time I opened it, I was like, "Oh shit, there's one. Oh, there's another one."
That's funny.
Yeah, but that's everything.
Nothing else?
Nope,
Nothing? Okay. All right, I'm going to start my own timer. I was trying to just narrow it down to like stuff I've been watching. Playing stuff has pretty much been the same as far as games. Like still playing Warzone all the time, still playing I still pop into Destiny here and there just to check in and see what's going on. I have to. I can't get away.
Yeah, I'm gonna encroach onto yours a little bit. One other game that I played, and I actually played it with you, was Sea of Thieves.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah, so Brian got his first taste of the game Sea of Thieves.
The Pirate Life.
Pirate Life, yes. Ahoy there, matey! Arr. And what did you think?
It is fun with a crew.
Yes.
I can see how that can be enjoyable. But I think I made the comment at the time my same fears for the game I think are still very apparent. Where it's just like what do you do other than sail around, possibly find things, look for treasure? That seems to be it. I feel like I need more of an objective to keep me interested.
Okay.
So, and I mean, I liked the customizable stuff. Like I liked, like it could hold my interest to just try to find treasure, get currency to buy outfits for my guy, or like ship customizable stuff.
Right.
Like that kind of stuff will keep me invested for a little bit, but it's not going to keep me invested long.
Yeah, I think that's why people were like attacking people. Like pirates were attacking other pirates instead of doing, hunting for treasure or whatever. They were looking for other players to just kill because there was nothing else to do. But now they have all kinds of other stuff, like they have events and
some of the in-game events were cool because
like
we were when we were playing, there was some sort of like skull in the clouds in the distance to signify that there was like skull ships, ships controlled by like skull AI characters or skeletons and stuff.
And I've tried fighting like the giant shark and like the what do you call it, Leviathan, with the tentacles and stuff like that. But
Kraken.
Yeah, the Kraken, thank you. But I am still not good at the game at all. So like that sort of like end game content, I don't know if that's what you call it, sort of has always eluded me because I haven't played it enough to really.
Were you trying to go in solo, right? So you
pretty much just me and my ex, and it was awful. So
okay,
just doing it with
I feel like two people.
Just, like, it's
two people for something like that is a little.
It was
rough.
a lot of fun with me, you, and Leslie, and if we can get like Eric in on it too, that'd be fun. Yeah,
we got. I think a crew of 4 is the way to go for sure. I did like that you definitely have to communicate when you play that game. Like one person has a map, or is in the bows of the ship telling you where to go due to the compass in the map, and someone's all the way up top in the ship telling you what's ahead and what might be in your way and when to get out of the way, and someone's steering the wheel like that. All that stuff was cool. Yeah. I liked all that.
And the graphics are really nice, like the way they did the water and the weather and everything like that. I think they did an excellent job of that. But
yeah, the art style is pretty cool. I do like that.
Yeah. Sorry, I didn't mean to encroach on your time. You can start your timer.
No, you're fine.
Oh, no one apologize for encroaching on any of my time.
We gave you more time.
There was a lot of encroaching.
Yeah, so playing's pretty much the same. Oh, one thing I guess I did pick up recently, just because Eric bought it a while ago, and I was like, I promise you, when it goes on sale, I'm gonna grab it again. Was Wreckfest, which is like a destruction derby racing game.
Okay.
It's by the developer I think that did. If anyone played Flat Out back in the day for original Xbox, I think there were 2 games, Flat Out 1 and 2.
I've heard of it, never played it.
It's another like dirty racing game, just like mud and dirt and not rally, but like junk cars going through dirt tracks and
not
stuff.
like dirty like Triple X.
No, not the porn stuff from Bond that Josh was talking about. But it's all about like the destructibility of the cars. Like if you ran into a wall, your wheel could fall off, and then you're DNFing the race because your car is just junk. And they have a lot of race tracks that cause chaos, so they're all like figure 8 tracks or crisscrosses. So you're driving against the grain to run into people, so it makes it a little bit more interesting, I guess, when you're racing, which is fun in my book. So yeah, that one I've enjoyed that one. As far as what I watched, I hit some of the ones that Josh did. I did watch Old Guard, which I thought was decent. They definitely set up for a sequel, so I do want to see, I guess, where that goes. Fight sequences and stuff in that were cool. The like mythology, I guess, of that movie, like the story-wise stuff, interests me. So I do want to just kind of like know more about that world. I think that's kind of cool. The other one I watched that Josh mentioned was Project Power, which I really like that one. I thought that was cool. I like their take on superheroes with the pill. And I mean JGL's in there, Joseph Gordon-Levitt, so I man crush on him. So I'm there. Check that out.
So my turn to encroach for a moment. Sarah said, and this is not a dig at him, but Sarah said it's interesting that this is the first time that we've ever noticed that Joseph Gordon-Levitt looks like he has aged since 2005. Not that he looks old.
Good.
He just
He
finally looks older than he did 15 years ago.
He's the undercard for Paul Rudd.
Yeah, like the thing I was looking at his stuff. I'm like, if I think about it, I haven't really seen him in much the last couple years, and like he does have credits, but I think I had to go back to maybe I think it was 2015. He did a like an R-rated Christmas movie with Seth Rogen.
Oh yeah,
That I think was called The Night Before.
Yeah.
Which was funny, but yeah, I just haven't seen him near like he was very prolific between like 2008 and 2015.
Yeah.
I just haven't seen him as much after that for a while, and it was great to see him again. And I don't know if that was because like is that why like I haven't seen him as regularly for the last couple of years, or like at 37, 38, does he finally look like he is not 23 anymore?
He just put out a movie, I think, that went to Amazon too. I think there was some plane pilot movie. I don't remember the name of it.
Oh, you're right. Yeah, I heard really good things about that. Keep talking. I'm going to look it up.
Okay. The other last movie that I think well, actually, no, Josh mentioned Lovebirds. I was actually looking forward to that one, and then it hit Netflix, and I watched it, and I was like, I'm okay. I was okay watching that at home. I was disappointed with that one. I think I expected. I really like Stuber. I think I was expecting something along the lines of Stuber. It was not as funny as Stuber.
Stuber was really good. I like that one.
Yeah, Stuber's like a sleeper hit. I definitely recommend Stuber if you haven't seen Stuber. But along those lines, I did see Amazon got My Spy eventually. Skipped the theater, went to Amazon. My Spy I thought was actually pretty funny. That was one with Batista as the spy and the little girl that like finds him.
Yeah, I forgot that was supposed to be a theatrical release. I think I remember coming across that scrolling through, and I think my brain said, "Isn't that movie 2 or 3 years old?" I don't know.
Yeah, it's recent, and I thought it was
just kind of melded together.
I laughed more watching that than Lovebirds, which I wouldn't have said prior to watching both of those movies.
Batista's really turned into a very good actor.
He does like the deadpan stuff well, I think.
Yeah.
Which works. And then the last 2 things I watched on Netflix were, well, I guess they're one of them I'm still in the middle of. One of them I just finished. Both sort of series. The one I finished was Warrior Nun, which I thought was fucking cool.
Oh, okay. It looked neat.
It's the whole like there's a paraplegic girl who is stuck in an orphanage. She dies, gets taken to a church, and the people at the church, there's like this sect of warrior nuns. There's these nuns that fight demons and evil and stuff. And there's always one powered by an angel's halo. And the one that's powered by the angel's halo, she dies, so they're all in the same place. The dead girl eventually gets the warrior's halo, comes back to life, and suddenly has all these powers. And then it's like, well, what do we do? How do we fight demons without this person? And so that set up a really, really cool world, and I want to see more from there. I think it's only 10 episodes, and by the time I got to episode 10 and the way that one ended, I was like, okay, here we go 11, and it just ends. So there's got to be more to that because it just stops.
Are they all like hour episodes?
About that, yeah.
About that, yeah. Okay.
Yeah. So I thought that was really cool. I like that one a lot. It's got a bit of a sense of humor, which I enjoyed. So that was cool. And like it doesn't take itself too seriously. And then the other one I just found out about like, I don't know, a couple days ago. I think I was scrolling the internet and just started catching clips from it. And I was like, wait, is this out? So I don't know when it was released, if it just released or if I'm just finding it now. But there is a 6-episode documentary series on Netflix called High Score.
I just saw it flash across my screen today.
Yeah.
What is
so
it?
That's all
what
about,
is it? What is it about?
It's like the history of video games.
Oh, okay.
So
Neat.
each episode takes a different sort of like section, I guess, and works its way through up. So I got through, I think, 3 episodes already. The first one is more like the arcade cabinet boom. Second one is starting to get into like home console phase, like the NES when the NES exploded. And the third episode was role-playing games. So like between tabletop games and computer games that started doing RPGs and stuff like that. So yeah, I mean, there's some stuff in there that I found out that I did not know. So it's got some cool info and stuff from it. And I think they found some really cool people to interview. Like people that were involved in games that I didn't realize, or games that I'd never heard of. People that are like almost like pioneers in the industry names that I've never heard before. There are, of course, some that I have heard. Like, you know, everybody knows Shigeru Miyamoto, the guy that made Mario and Zelda and all that stuff for Nintendo. He's not interviewed. He's talked about, and you learn a little bit about him. But the people that actually get to interview, I thought is pretty cool. And there's some stories in there that I've never heard. So I'm excited to finish that one. I think that was really cool. So anybody that's a video game fan, I think definitely check that one out. And I think that was it for me. That's all I got.
Real quick, that Joseph Gordon-Levitt flight movie, I think it was either picked up by Amazon or it was an Amazon production, but it's called 7500.
Yes, I knew it was a number.
And it looks to be like a pretty, it's an hour and 33 minutes. So it's like probably you're in, you're out. Here's the story.
Yeah. Nice. I don't know. You guys got anything else to add? I think, like I said, I went through what I did. I don't really have anything else to chime in with.
I think I'm good.
I could riff on anything you want to, but we've probably gone through quite a bit.
Yeah, I think we've hit about our hour, just about our hour. Maybe a couple minutes over our hour. So maybe it's a good time to close it down.
I think so. We'll actually kind of make it on our schedule this time.
I know, a little bit more of a quick hit this episode, I think. Andy obviously was the quickest. You got through yours in like 7 minutes, man. You're lightning quick.
He just gets through the important points. He cuts out all the fluff that I'm not able to.
Yeah. Andy doesn't fuck around.
Nah.
He's like, you give me that timer. I'm going to be done before that. I'll blow your timer out of the water. All right. Well, that's it for us. If you've enjoyed the show, please support us. Leave a 5-star rating and review. You can give us a share on social media. That'd be great. Be sure to follow and subscribe to keep up with the show. We are on Spotify, iTunes, Google, Anchor, Stitcher. Hopefully anywhere you listen to your podcast, we will be there. You can find us on Facebook. Search Bry Guy and his Super Friends, or go to facebook.com/BryGuySuperFriends. And you can send us questions, comments, topic suggestions, any of that good shit there. You can try to email us, bryguysuperfriends@gmail.com. I've never checked that. Well, no, that's a lie. I have checked it like 3 times since I've started the show. So in 5 years, maybe 3 times. So if you send something there, it's hit or miss whether I see it. You can hit us up on Twitter @BGSuperFriends. That I will see. I'm also going to start plugging maybe my YouTube and Twitch, which I've started dabbling in. So If you want to find me, I am Jedi Bryguy on both of those. GEDIBRU. I can't even spell my own fucking name. GEDIBRYGUI. No, GUI. Jesus Christ.
Did you say
I can't
GEDI?
I don't know. No, all right. Starting over. JEDI. It's literally written down in front of me. I can't spell it. BRYGUY. I keep wanting to say I where there's Y's. I keep wanting to say G's when there's J's. Jesus Christ. I'm the host of the show, folks. This is how we do it here.
This is how we do it.
And make sure you pick one of those and send some comments out to us in the lead up to our Venom rewatch and discussion. If you get around to it before you get the episode dropping, hopefully like 2 weeks from now, week and a half or so, send out anything you have if you got to watch it before you hear the episode, and maybe we'll get a chance to address your thoughts, bring your comments up, answer your questions. We won't be able to explain to you, we still won't be able to, how that movie made $800 million, but anything else about it will be definitely welcome to discuss. So please, share that with us.
Yeah, by the time this episode's up, I did post the video of the spin that lets you know that Venom is the next one up on the show. So there's that you can comment on. Probably once we narrow down what day we're going to record, I will try to lead us up to that and post something in the Facebook page so you know when we are going to record. So when the deadline is, if you want to send comments or questions, you'll know when to get them in by. And we'll try to address them on the show. So it could be fun. And I guess again for the Twitch, if you follow me on Twitch, I think you can follow now. I'm gonna tease that I got something planned for that channel coming up for listeners of the podcast. So consider this just your little tease. We finished teasing the wheel spin and stuff like that, so I'm gonna start teasing a couple little other things. So keep an eye out for that. Give me a follow, and you'll be all set for whenever shit happens. And on behalf of Andy, Josh, and myself, thank you for listening, and we will talk to you next time.
Bloop.
What was the bloop for?